Everybody got radiation sickness. Oh, that man's having a seizure. Does anybody else suddenly feel like they have cancer everywhere in their body? And that's for them singing video. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm not cleaning any of this up.
We did it!
Yeah.
Rush over and help your girlfriend there, Peter. Oh no, you're gonna run over to Harry, of course.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you gonna do like a cardiac arrest thing? Are you gonna poop 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 like like restart his heart?
Give me some room.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. If I put my 2 fingers up his nostrils, I might be able to reignite his brain. Oh, I'm doing this. Okay. Again, right up the nostril. Just 2, right up here in the nostril. It'll work. I promise. Or a thumb up the butt. Have you tried putting your thumb up the butt? Oh, okay, well, I guess that's fine too. Did you guys put your thumb up my butt?
Thank you. Gotta get to the hospital.
Where they can diagnose him with an irreversible treatment. Oh, well, I mean, no, I guess we don't have to get into a hospital, because he's right down there, so. Oh, I can't believe he's such a load, man. Ugh.
Harry.
Pulse is weak. We gotta move.
What have you done?
I saved him.
What have you done to him? I'm so sorry. I'm coming with you. Wait.
That kind of seems out of nowhere. I mean, he asked me to save his boy. I clearly saved the boy.
There are traces of brain activity, but his chances of coming back are very slim.
Just keep him alive.
I wanted to give him a novelty Willy Wonka cane. And he throws it at the window. Or smashes it. Dude, we just got that replaced. We just got it replaced. We gotta stop giving the Osborns canes, man.
Why? Get the G serum ready.
Goblin.
ASAP.
Goblin serum. Okay, so that is where they're going. So Spider-Man 3 is going to be the Goblin. Okay.
For the last few years, tragedy has tried to tear the city apart.
Oh, I don't get to read that subtitle?
But
Okay,
we
fine.
somehow kept going. We battled sickness, evil, cataclysm.
Farts.
We are tired, anxious,
Yeah, I am.
stressed,
Yeah.
numb. But we have never lost hope.
Oh, I never had hope to begin with. I can't lose it. I didn't have it.
The city needs to heal. We're all ready to return to normal, but what is normal?
In New York, fires,
What if it no
homelessness,
longer exists?
crime.
Over the last half hour, I've talked about how these events have changed me. But what about you? In this ongoing series, I will be talking with people throughout the city, exploring our new behaviors, new routines, new thoughts and feelings. I hope you'll join me on this journey.
I really don't
This
think
has
I
been
will.
Mary Jane Watson, and you're listening to The New Normal.
This is the new normal? Oh my goodness. No, no, no. Wheat cakes, finally! Between wheat cakes, pancakes, and flapjacks. Flavor!
I don't know.
Are these good to go?
In a minute, I want to show you something first.
Okay.
It has molasses in it.
Yum, I'll take those.
We're just gonna put these directly into the trash. Don't tell her. Is it how many people
Thanks again
have?
for the donation, Peter.
And thanks for helping me load all this. You know, as a 98, pound woman, I really enjoy picking up all these boxes and putting them onto the truck on my own. Thanks. Thank you a lot. Is it a new bike? Is it a podcasting station? Is it... Oh. It can wait. Let him die. Let them die. It's okay. They can all just burn in that fire. Mary Jane's more
Have
important.
you talked to Miles about?
Not yet.
You ready?
No, I'm not gonna put my mask on.
Miles.
I figure it'd be fine.
I've been meaning to talk to you about something.
It's
I mean, I
about the
have
importance
been
of putting on your
talking
mask.
to you all the time. It's great to talk. So many good talks. I just haven't been talking to you about what I should have been talking to you about.
Pete,
Wait.
Shut up.
Let me start again.
I got this.
Put on your mask!
All of it.
All the people who are complete strangers looking
Leave
out their
Peter Parker
windows and
for a
see me
while.
without my mask.
Are you sure? It's a big city.
I can handle it. As long as I can still call you for advice.
You don't need it.
No, he needs the advice about putting on his mask. That's
Maybe not
really
now,
good and
but-
sound advice.
There'll come a time.
I'm here for you. Always.
Big bro. See you.
You should have done that as soon as you walked out of the costume. So where do you get the income for to start that Emily May Foundation? Where's the investor capital? That doesn't look like it's got Norman Osborn money behind it. Oh. Okay. Well, there's gonna be an after credits thing. There's always an after credits thing. Well, we'll see how that is. Okay, couple of things. Immediate reactions is underwhelmed with the ending. Very underwhelmed. However, I do appreciate the fact that this game is doing something which I want to see in more video games, comic books. Actually, it's doing something that comics have attempted to do in the past, but never really had the gumption to actually go through, which is letting the heroes grow up, letting the heroes get older. And I'm still not a huge fan of like Miles Morales taking the name Spider-Man. I wish he had his own name. However, if they're setting it up where, like, no, Miles Morales is becoming Spider-Man because Peter Parker's getting older, he needs to, like, have a life, get a family, and blah, blah, blah. He just can't devote himself to being Spider-Man 24 hours a day like he could when he was a kid. And, like, Miles Morales is showing up to kind of, like, eventually take over in Spider-Man. Peter Parker comes out of retirement every once in a while when only like a big threat happens. And like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I just wish he wasn't called Spider-Man. I wish it wasn't, because even in this game, they're like, oh, Spider-Man, oh, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. I'm like, wait, who's on first? Who's on first? Wait, who's on second? Could you just call him something else? Because, excuse me, once again, this is something they've done in the comic books for years, which is, you had the Clone Saga back in the 90s where there were two Spider-Men, and they didn't even know who was the real Peter Parker. And eventually it was decided, and then retconned, and then decided again, and then retconned again. Ah! What is that? What is that? Don't do that again. Not that face. Not that face again. Anyway, but then eventually they were like, all right, well, you're the real Spider-Man. You're the real Peter Parker. You're the clone. But the clone still had spider powers, so he's just like, well, I can't be Spider-Man. I'm not Spider-Man anymore, but I'm still going to go out there. I'm going to be the Scarlet Spider. I'm going to be a brand new character. I mean, he never really took off, but he was a brand new Spider-Man. And then there was another clone with spider powers. And then he turned into Kane, I think it was. But you get my point, which is they introduce new spider-themed characters, but they don't just like, okay, now you're Spider-Man as well. Everybody's a Spider-Man. They're like, no, you're a brand new character. You get your own name, and let's see what happens with you. And they're not really doing that. They're not really doing that with Miles Morales. Like, they don't seem to have the guts to say Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Ironically, it's something that they've never really had a problem doing in the Batman franchise, which is it's Batman and Robin, and then Robin grows up and becomes Nightwing, and then you got another Robin to take his place. Then that Robin grows up and becomes like the Red Hood, and then you got a new Robin. That Robin grows up and then becomes another one, and like Robin is more like a training for superheroes or eventual superheroes, and they just keep on adding new ones, but they keep on making a new Robin. But everybody knows, you're like, well, you're not. The Robin is like, Robin's more of like a title, like a training title, like Padawan or something like that. But there's never been like the Robin War, where all the Robins fight for the right to be. There can only be one Robin. They have to cut off their heads for the Robin quickening or anything like that. I do like how at the end of this game, like when the symbiote basically like takes over New York, this thing goes almost into horror movie mode. It gets dark. It's still like PG-13. Actually, like PG in a lot of ways. There's a lot of people who should have died. You never see any blood or anything like. Well, no, I take that back. You did see blood when Kraven got his head ripped off or bit off. Okay, that's the only time you saw blood in this game. But there should have been like hundreds of people dying all over the place in this game, but you never really saw any blood or anything like that. Whatever. And I did, like I said, I do like how like. If this was in live action or done on television or anything like that, this would be super scary and spooky and just blah 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 blah. Yes, that is the game I just played. You are correct. And what's the cutscene? What's the tease for the next one? I know the G-Virus is Green Goblin. I get that. But is Harry going to become Green Goblin, or is it going to be Norman Osborn? Because both have become Green Goblin in the past. Is he going to go see Otto? Is he seeing Dr. Otto Octavius? Yes, he is.
What do you want?
A cameo.
The Spider-Man. You know who they are, don't you?
Well, one of them.
Why?
They ruined my son.
Good. We all have to experience loss. Even you, Norman.
What are you writing?
Twilight fanfiction.
The final chapter.
Of Game of Thrones? Yeah, I don't think George R.R. Martin is gonna finish the book series either. Alright, skipping. I don't care. Oh, and there's another one. Of course there is. Okay, yeah, that's right. Who is the guy? Who is the guy? It's probably gonna be somebody of significance. If it's the uncle, I'm gonna be weirded out. Oh, she's been dating her. Oh, that's gonna be awkward.
Haley, hi. I hope you're hungry.
Oh, I would have thought this meant pregnant.
Food's almost ready. Why don't you go show her your essay? He worked so hard on it.
I know, my mom is weird. I'd like to show you all the music I've written, but, you know, deaf and blind.
Some guy in Harlem. Probably seen him volunteering in the city, helping out his city council mom, and trying to live up to his hero dad.
Yeah, well, who is she dating? And once again, Miles, should you really just have your costume out like this? Anybody could, like, one, look through the window. It's right there visible through the window.
Yeah.
Really irresponsible. I dub thee, sir, Dorkalat. Again, he could just walk in and see the Spider-Man costume and all that stuff. Okay, is it gonna be somebody? Am I gonna recognize them? We'll find out.
Hi. Miles, Haley, this is Albert.
Wesker?
Hi, nice to meet you. Oh, and this is my daughter, Cindy.
Cindy. Am I supposed to know that person? Am I supposed to know Cindy? Is that like another Spider-Man character? You finished the main story, Peter, and you can now start a fresh adventure with ultimate difficulty. Yeah, could I? Should I?
What's up, New York? Should help out Unc.
Unc?
The rest of his stuff.
No, I don't really think I will. Who's Sydney? Hold on a second. Is that like that one like Spider-Man character Weave or whatever? Web? Wait, Spider-Man, Man, It's Sydney. No, not Cinderella. Why are you telling me? Why would Google recommend Spider-Man's Cinderella? Sydney Moon. Okay, yeah. Released from the bunker. Yeah, Silk, not Weave. That's her name. Silk. Okay. I don't care, Dankacast. I don't. Shut up, Dankacast. Okay, so Silk. They're introducing Silk, but what's weird about the Silk character is, okay, again, this is from the comics, and they're not gonna follow the story in this game. In the comics, Silk was like put in a bunker at a very, very young age, and basically just like was like Brie Larson in the room, like was just like kept in isolation for years. And when she eventually got out, like it was Peter Parker that helped her get out, and their like spider pheromone hormones were out of control, and they just couldn't stop going at each other. And I'm not talking about fighting. They're just all the way, like so much all the way. I don't think they're going that direction in this game. And oh my goodness, you're going to introduce another spider person? You're going to introduce another spider person in the third game? Okay. You know, I mean, I understand why they introduced Miles, but I kind of miss when Spider-Man games were just about, you know, Spider-Man. Just one Spider-Man. I mean, the Miles Morales DLC was fine, because it was just about one Spider-Man. And, I mean, yes, this one's Spider-Man 2, so it also works on a double level. You know, there being two Spider-Man. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But now we're going to introduce Silk, and, oh my goodness, are they going to introduce Spider-Gwen too? Oh my goodness, they could introduce Spider-Gwen. Well, I mean, in the comics, this is, again, one thing I will give this game. Peter Parker and MJ are still together. And it really does seem like they're going to be a couple, and they're going to maintain them as a couple. As far as I'm concerned, they should be. Peter Parker and MJ should be together. They should have a family. They should live happily ever after. Give Peter Parker and MJ their happy ending. They don't want to do that in the comics, Star. It really seems like for one of two reasons. Either one, they don't know how to write married people in comics, because most characters in comic books are swinging bachelors or swinging singles. Very few comic book characters are married and with a happy family life, which only leads you to believe that, like, I don't know if comic book writers know what it is to be happy in a marriage, because they can't write it. I think they have a lot of problems with their spouses, and they just can't understand how to write that. Or two, they don't understand how to write drama with a marriage. They're like, it's too hard. So they're just like, keep them single, keep them out playing the field, so that like we can draw new ladies or new relationships and blah blah blah, because the relationship problems make drama, although you would think a marriage would make that. But they refuse to let Peter Parker be happily married. For almost the entire 90s comic books, Peter Parker was married to Mary Jane. That's how I grew up with Peter Parker in Spider-Man, married with Mary Jane. I thought that was great. Once again, you saw Spider-Man grow up, get married, and start, you know, like helping out the next generation. Nope, they took all of that away from him, and now he's back to being single. And I'm like, we don't know how to move forward in comic books. So again, I don't think they're gonna do the thing with Silk in this game. They're not gonna like introduce her as a rival to MJ, or at least I really hope not. I don't think people are going to get excited for her. I mean, look at me. I'm not very excited. I had to look up who the character was. I forgot the character's real name, Sydney. As soon as I saw a picture of her on the web, I was like, oh yeah, that person. I don't care. Much like half of the cast of Miles Morales' comic book, all his mother and Haley and everything like that. I don't care about any of them. You keep on introducing new characters. You're not endearing me to any of these characters. If all of these characters die in the third final game, it won't mean a single thing to me. Or they want SM to stay a teen, and teens don't usually get married. Well, that's just it, no, Nito. Like, Peter Parker is an adult in the comic books. Like, he grew up. So he's not a teenager anymore. They want him to be single for some strange reason. Like, either the heads of the Marvel Comics or the writers, who knows. But just they refuse to let Peter Parker grow up and get married, have a kid, and everything like that. Even though they did make a parallel universe comic book series where that did happen, and it sold very, very, very well. Because I'm not the minority in this opinion. Most people who like grew up in the 90s or read Spider-Man comics in the 90s, we all became accustomed and really liked Spider-Man being married to Mary Jane. And like this comic book like introduced, like they eventually had a daughter. She of course had spider powers, so much like Miles in this game, Peter Parker was like, I have to teach her how to use her powers, where I'm going to teach her how to fight crime and things like that because she's my daughter and blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what, all of this is golden, all of this is great. I appreciate all of this because again, there's the drama factor of Peter Parker like trying to be a responsible dad, teaching her how to fight crime, but like Mary Jane is at home like, I'm like, I'm gonna support you guys, but oh my goodness. Because that was always the thing. That was always the great thing about Mary Jane in the comics. And again, one of the things they just went the complete opposite direction in this game. And I don't like Mary Jane in this game. Like, because again, I grew up with Mary Jane in the comics, and the entire crux of Mary Jane in the comics was she was a party girl when Peter met her back in high school. Was very, very, like, irresponsible, just was looking for a good time. And it wasn't until the death of Gwen Stacy that she actually, like, started, like, not just dating Peter Parker, but, like, taking care of Peter, because she saw, like, how distraught he was after the death of Gwen Stacy. And, like, didn't go out and party anymore. She, like, stayed to support him and help him. And again, that's how their relationship like grew, and eventually they fell in love and got married. But the entire crux of it was like Mary Jane was like a supermodel hottie who was way out of Peter Parker's league, and that was always like the endearing thing about her character, which is like she could do so much better than Peter Parker, and Spider-Man just adds so much stress to her life. Like, she doesn't need to be a part of this relationship. She could go out and have a really, really super happy life without all of this trouble. But she loves Peter Parker, so she sticks with him because, like, I gotta support him. He needs me, and he needs somebody there all the time to help him, even though I don't need him. And that was, like, a really, like, it was a really endearing thing about her character. Even in the comics now, they're trying to make Mary Jane like a CEO and a super spy, and they're giving her superpowers. And I'm like, can't people just be like supportive to their superheroes? Like, we don't need to make Mary Jane like sneaking around boxes and, oh, I'm gonna go Lois Lane. Like, they made Mary Jane Lois Lane in this game, and then she starts a podcast. I'm like, it's perfectly fine for Mary Jane just to be, like, a literal supporting character where she's really, really, really important to Peter Parker. But, you know, Aunt May is super, super important and significant to Peter Parker. But at no point in the first video game was there an Aunt May level where I'm shivving some gangster in an alley somewhere because, like, oh, we have to make Aunt May, like, super cool and very proactive and as a character. I'm like, no, she's a supporting character. She's there to support Spider-Man and Peter Parker and help him get through the whole ordeal, and also like give him some sound advice to help him, like that word of wisdom. And it's perfectly okay if Mary Jane was the same thing, but no, we have to give her missions, we have to give her stealth missions, we have to give her a gun, we have to give her a stealth lightning rail gun thing. Ugh, I hate that so much. And once again, speaking of railguns, I bring it up because like one of those little falcon little bird mechanical robot things had railguns on it. Where did Kraven the Hunter get all his money? How in the world did he have like a legion army of like 5,000 people? What country is this? What does he do? I mean, his family is rich, but like that is like that's like what does his country, does his organization have like the 5th largest economy in the world? Like how in the world? And again, where are the cops in this game? Where were the cops? Like, I would spend like 25 minutes blowing up or battling people in the streets of New York. Not a cop to be seen for the entire thing. And like, eventually, sometimes you saw them, like, always after. But, listen, I've never been to New York, but I know the whole point of, like, one of the things about New York is there's a cop, like, almost on, like, every single corner. There's police all over New York. There's no cops anywhere. Oh, my God. I hated that. I hate that, too. Wow, am I underwhelmed by this game. Really underwhelmed by this game. I'm sitting here in my own juices. I'm thinking about what I just went through, and I don't hate it, but I hate a lot of it. Not the combat, not the traversal. All of that, still golden. Still golden. Insomniac, you made a great combat system. You made great game mechanics for getting around the city. The city looks great. All of that's great. It's a lot of the narrative decisions. It's a lot of the character decisions. And for the simple fact that there's the only characters that I care about in this game franchise right now is Norman Osborn. Because again, I'm interested to see what they do with him as a character, because they're definitely treating him differently than Norman Osborn is normally treated in a lot of other mediums. Dr. Octopus, because once again, they're really making him like a more layered, complex character. And, well, I mean, J. Jonah Jameson. But J. Jonah Jameson is just great. I mean, he's not really a character as much as he is just comic relief and just... I love it whenever J. Jonah just chimes up and says something. He's wonderful. And I don't even think I care about Peter Parker. I don't think I care about Peter Parker, Spider-Man, or anybody else in this game. Once again, I mean, if they all died in the third and final game, I wouldn't shed a tear. I mean, I think like the game wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be nearly as good if it wasn't like Peter Parker Spider-Man you were being. But only because like out of all the characters I don't care about, or at least as all the characters that you play as in this game, Peter Parker is the one I like the most. And even then, I don't really like Peter Parker Spider-Man in this game. Again, I'm not saying I dislike him. I'm just saying, like, he hasn't endeared himself to me. He hasn't really, like, wowed me or made me really sympathize with his plight and make me feel that I'm rooting for you. I really hope nothing bad happens to you. Well, probably the reason why I feel that way is because, like, I know he's Spider-Man. Bad things are going to happen to him. It's like, it's Spider-Man and Daredevil who have the biggest, like, Catholic guilt in all of Marvel Comics, even though I don't know if they've ever mentioned like what religion or any religion Peter Parker is. I don't think he's Catholic, but like Daredevil, like he has a lot of guilt because he's got that classic Catholic guilt. Spider-Man has a lot of guilt about everything. He has the world of on his shoulders, of all the responsibility on his shoulders, and he feels guilty about everything and responsible for everything. That is one of his biggest character drives. But oh man. Am I going to do the Flame side quest, Danish? I don't know. What is the Flame side quest? Let me see something here. Shut up, lady. I don't care. How do I switch? How do I switch to Peter? Oh, wait. I should check out the suits. I have new suits, right? I've got the end suit. Now, you see, Miles? That's not a bad suit. Doesn't look great. But that's not bad. Why aren't you using that one? That's a good looking suit. I like that. And what about Peter? No, go back. Peter, you've got what's your new suit? Web suit, web black. Yeah, Spider-Man 3, Iron Spider. These are all suits that you get for unlocking stuff, I'm sure. And then gadgets and skills. Stupid, I keep on doing that. There's... Okay, whatever.
We survived.
Wait, how do I...
Impossible.
I don't care. How do I switch? How do I switch to Peter Parker? Hey, game. How do I switch to Peter Parker? Change, scroll, parry, leap off, throw. How do I don't want to be Miles. I want to be Peter. Be sure for the last controller open settings. Gameplay? Controls? How about that? Invert, fire rate, continuous dodge, blah 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 blah. Melee. No, not that. Subtitles, accessible shortcut, challenge of stealth awareness, dodge, game speed, auto aim, swing assistance. No. Auto heal. Do I hit this? No. No, there's that. No.
And we did it together.
No, you had nothing to do with it.
The Spider-Man led the way, and every day New Yorkers rose to the challenge.
No, they didn't. The streets were
Today
completely
I am
empty.
so pleased to talk with one of those heroes. Author, journalist, and avid motorcyclist.
Mary Jane.
Please welcome Mary Jane Watson.
Oh, shut up.
Please call me MJ. MJ it is.
Oh, crime.
So,
Get him to
I
shut up.
think
Get him to shut up, crime. Thank you.